Hello everyone, Shawn Thompson here, spiritual counselor and psychic medium. I am here for part 2 of the messenger. Last week we answered some questions regarding if you could ask God one question, what would it be? And let me tell you, we had some fabulous questions and we still had them coming through after I did the video. So today I thought I would do a part 2 and answer the rest of your questions. So if you haven't joined me for the messenger, welcome. If you are interested in diving a little bit deeper on the topics that I discuss each week, you might want to consider subscribing to the weekly messenger. I put a link in the comment box below. You can do a 30-day free trial of the weekly messenger, and then after that it's only $11 a month. So if you haven't liked, follow, or subscribed, do me a favor and hit that like button and share this with someone who you think it might benefit. It always helps me get the message out. So let's jump into part 2. If you could ask God one question, what would it be? I want to start out with Vicky's question. So Vicky says, can I talk to my daughter? And the answer is absolutely yes, Vicky. There are many ways that you can communicate with your daughter in the spirit realm. The easiest way is just to bring her into your thought, into your heart, and share with her, just via thought, what you need, what you feel, that you miss her, that you love her. And you will probably feel a really warm sensation come over your body, followed by signs and synchronicities that she is working really hard on the other side to get to you. I teach people how to connect with their loved ones across the veil, and I actually just launched a bundle called Mediumship Unveiled Bundle. This is my 4-week e-course, which teaches you how to connect. You also get my best-selling ebook, Life After Death, Permission to Live Again, weekly group calls, and 3 private sessions. So scroll down into the other videos I have if you're interested in joining me for the Mediumship Unveiled Bundle, which starts February 1st, and this will teach you how to connect with your loved ones. Hey Kim, good to see you here. Thank you for joining. So Vicky, I hope that that was a little insight into how you can connect with your daughter anytime. They never tire of hearing from you, and they are working around the clock to get you messages, whether it's through someone like me, whether it's through a conversation, a book title. For any of you who are already connecting with your loved ones, put something in the comment box that would encourage Vicky how to reach out to her daughter so that she can feel her connected. Something that's really worked for you. Everybody has a different style of connecting, so if you'd like to share some insight for Vicky, put that in the comment box. Now, another viewer asked me, I don't believe in heaven. Will I see my husband on the other side? And when I sat with this question, the first thing that jumped out at me was the fact that you said the other side tells me that your soul already knows that you are connected across the veil, that you will be going somewhere other than the earthly realm when your physical body dies. And it may just be that part of your lesson in walking in earth this lifetime is to challenge your belief system, is to find a belief system, a doctrine that resonates with you, that feels right in your soul. Ask yourself, well, if I don't believe in the afterlife or heaven, where do I think my husband went? Where do I think I'm going to meet him on the other side? What do you think it's like? And if you can't find the answer to that, schedule a reading, because I will connect you with him so he can describe where he's at, so he can help you remember where you're going to go after this lifetime and help you connect to your own divine truth, not maybe something that you read in a magazine or you watched on TV or a religious doctrine that didn't resonate with you. There are many ways to the top of the mountain, okay? And you have to find your own. But the fact that you are questioning it or wondering about it, or even believe that there is something after death, even if you don't know what that is, tells me that you believe in more. And maybe this lifetime, your journey is to discover what more means for you. So that's what came through for you. Kim says meditation, some quiet time, just sit and listen, you'll hear them. Yes, absolutely. Kim has taken my mediumship unveiled. She's very intuitive. She is able to connect with her loved ones across the veil, and so this is one key way that you can get a message through or even receive a message. So I hope that helps you, Vicki. Moving on to Melissa's question, why did my son have to die instead of me? So many parents have this question. Oftentimes we have a firm belief that the parent should go before the child, and it's always devastating, and it just puts a knife in your soul if you have had a child pass. So my heart just goes out to you, Melissa, on this question, and so many of you had this question, and so I want to share the insight with this. One thing that you have to remember is our soul crafts our journey, and it provides us with departure dates, and there's many. There's not just one date that we're going to choose to transcend into the heavenly realm. We have many departure dates that, depending on where we're at in our journey, we can choose to exit. And a lot of times when that exit is chosen, it is the catalyst that provides our soul group family that we incarnate with the opportunity to learn their lessons. Okay, and I know that sounds twisted, but when you know at a soul level, when you're each crafting your life and you're asking your soul group family members to participate in that, every soul knows that they're going to go back and be reunited and do a life review and get to see how each other played their part for not only their own soul's evolution, but for their soul group family members' evolution. So when you're crafting this, you're not worried about when you're going to die, how you're going to die, how it's going to affect someone else. It's all written into the divine plan, and you're not meant to know that. Okay, so if you listen to talks that I give, or if you've had a reading with me or someone else, you will know that your family members come through and they share this insight and information to remind you that we are living in the matrix. We are living in a simulation that is not true. It's true to our lower 3D self, but it's so much bigger than that. So when you go through something like the loss of your child, you are in deep pain. It's going to make you question everything about life, about your belief system, about what you believe to be true. And it is meant for a catalyst for you to step into some of the lessons that your soul wanted to learn. If you want to know a little bit more about that, I would encourage you to take one of my courses or schedule a reading with me so I can go more in depth, but that's the short version. That I know it doesn't make complete sense to you right now. I do have insight to share with you about that, as well as other people who have had near-death experiences or out-of-body experiences or can channel. It's information that comes through pretty often and in pretty similar ways from each soul that has crossed in what they want you to know about why they died, when they chose to die, the lessons that are involved in it. So there's a lot of information for you about that, but if you are just getting into mediumship or trying to understand how to connect across the veil, working with a mentor or reading books about the afterlife is the best place for you to start to help you understand that when a child dies specifically, but when anybody leaves this earth, it's not personal to you. It's not a punishment from God. There's nothing that you could have done or that you did wrong that would have impacted their crossing. I promise you, and everybody listening, that if that soul was not meant to pass at that time, a miracle would have been allowed to happen to stop that transcendence, okay? And you have to trust that. You do get a pass. You do have opportunities like 9 lives. If it's not your turn, if you're not ready, if it wasn't meant to be, there is divine intervention that is allowed. And that doesn't mean that your son wasn't worthy, your child wasn't worthy, or you weren't in order to get that miracle or to have that miracle happen. It just means that everything's in the divine plan, even though you don't understand it or you don't have all the details. So I hope, Melissa, that was helpful for you and anybody else who has lost a child who struggles with that deep sense of not understanding or the grief that comes with that. So Kim says, something we planned to learn, some kind of lesson. Yes. And oftentimes those lessons are hard to discover. They're hard to understand. They're hard to trust that your soul would ever craft that for you or for another family member. But trust me, when you're sitting in unconditional love and you have access to all the inside information and you know that you're coming back to discover how your soul evolved that lifetime, you are willing to craft anything and everything, because the ultimate goal is for your soul to choose the high road, to step into its own divinity and understand that love is the only thing that matters, is to evolve. Okay, and so we craft a lot of twisted plots that are going to challenge our ego so that our divinity can shine through. So, hey Susan, good to see you. So let me move on to Charity's question. She says, are we really in heaven now? I loved this question because when we think of heaven, we think of beauty, unconditional love, perfection, no problems, right? And so when we look at life, how it is on earth, there's a combination of that and struggle and challenges and pain and hurt. And so our mind can't conceptualize that we're in heaven. The way that I like to explain this question, Charity, is if you've ever seen the movie Hunger Games, I think it was the second or third where they're doing the games on this island. If you haven't seen it, go watch that section of the movie, because this is what it's like. They're in this, they're on this island, and all of these bad things are happening on this island, and they're trying to survive each and every challenge or experience. And at the end of the movie, Katniss shoots an arrow or shoots like a bomb, I don't know how to explain it, up into the sky because she notices the matrix, the glitch in the matrix. And she shoots it up and she breaks the bubble that all these Hunger Games are being played in. And when she breaks the bubble by shooting up into the sky to crack open the simulation of the game that they're playing, she realizes that she was just in the matrix. She was just in this illusion of these things happening, and the earth or the sky or the real world was outside of that bubble that she was in playing this game. And so this is how I see heaven is all around you, okay? And you are in a simulation, a matrix, and your soul has incarnated into a dense 3D physical body to play out a storyline for its evolution. And the ego is the filter. So the ego is the boundaries of this bubble. And every time you trump the ego, it's like you shoot an arrow into the matrix and you come back to your soul, into that heavenly realm. So it's all around you. You're always connected. You just can't see it. Sometimes you can't feel it when you're struggling, when you're walking in lesson, but it's absolutely there. So try to rise above, try to see through the storyline of what you're playing out in this 3D world, and realize that heaven is not there. It's not up there. It's not over there. It's not outside of you. It is within you. And it is asking you to remember that realm so that you can get insight and guidance and bring that into your simulation, your 3D experience. So you'll hear people talk about 5D and 3D. So 5D is where you can access everything in the heavenly realm, insight, guidance, all the solutions, your spirit guide, your loved ones. This is where you come from. Learning how to raise your vibration and see through the glitch of the matrix and bring in that information and that wisdom is going to help you play out the storyline in your 3D world, so it's not so you don't feel so separated. So I hope that was helpful, Charity. Let me know if you have any questions related to that going further. So Joanne had a question, and she says, it is said that you have a chosen people. Why is that? Shouldn't love be equal for everybody? I absolutely love this question, Joanne. When I sat with this, the first thing that came through from Spirit on this for you was that the answer is absolutely yes, you're correct. So what I would ask you is, who is they? Who is the they that you talk about? They say there are chosen people. I would suspect that where you're hearing that from is from a religious sect that is trying to keep you in separation and division. You're correct. We are all equal. We are all chosen, and we all chose to incarnate, to play out a storyline for our soul's evolution. Nobody is better. Nobody is worse. Even the people who do bad acts, okay, and who hurt people, they are chosen as well. They have chosen to incarnate, to rise above the ego and let their divinity shine. So I love this question for you. And what Spirit wanted you definitely to know is that you're already tuning in to the truth for you to be able to even ask that question. So commend yourself, because that question was from an awakened soul. You are an awakened soul. You tapped in beyond the matrix to see the truth of who you are, why we're here, and what matters. So I commend you on that. Hey Doris, good to see you. Okay, let's move on because I have several other great questions that I'm so excited to answer. Again, if you haven't followed or subscribed, definitely do that. I want you to join my community. And if you know of somebody who this might help, share it. Share the love. So let's move on to Victoria's question. She says, why can't you take the drug addiction away from my children? Oh, this just hit me in my heart, soul. Victoria, one thing that you have to remember is we all come here to learn our own lesson, okay? And one of the things that I'm hearing right now for you is I can feel your pain. We as mothers and as parents want the best for our children, and it's so hard to see them walk in lesson, and we can't help them, but you can help them. Your children asked you to be their mother, to be their parent, because you have a gift. You have something that you can do for them in their journey that they're walking. So I need you to really tune in and ask yourself, what part of you shines that you can shine so bright to love and support your child in the lesson that they've chosen to walk? How can you contribute to their journey? I'm not talking, and I want you to ask yourself, how are you contributing? Are you helping? Are you enabling? Are you playing the victim? Are you, how are you contributing to their journey in the positive and negative? Okay, because you play an absolutely pivotal role. They chose you to be their parent during their journey because you have a gift to give to them. So ask yourself, Victoria, if you are doing the highest good for them. Are you enabling? Are you in so much pain and grief that you can't be strong for them? Are you speaking your truth when you know you need to, even if it hurts, even if you're scared that they will not talk to you anymore if you cut them off or if you set a boundary? They need you to be your strongest and highest version to help them along their journey. So I want you to think a little bit deeper about that. You play an important role. What is that role? That's what I would ask you. Sharon says, does the soul know what age it will die or transcend to the heavenly realm? And how does the soul know that? Oh, I love this. So yes, the soul knows. Consciously, maybe not. Intuitively and at a soul level, absolutely. Oftentimes in hindsight, you can go back and see the signs and the synchronicities that led up to the moment the soul chooses to transition. And it may not be at that point to where you go, oh my gosh, he always said he was going to die early, or he always said he wasn't going to live past 32. Or, last week he just came and gave me this hug and said, Mom, no matter what happens, I love you. So a lot of times you can go back and see that intuitively, at a soul level, the person knew that they were going to pass at a certain time. How do they know this? Because they crafted their lifetime. They sat around the round table before they incarnated, and they gave themselves multiple departure points that when they felt they were ready to be a catalyst for someone else's lesson, or they had completed their mission, or a lot of times people are tired and their soul just wants to go back to revise, okay, their life that they crafted, and they choose that departure point to come back at a later time. So this is a really great question, and it probably leads to another question. Do you want to know when you're going to check out? Would you really want to know when someone was going to leave? How would that change the course of your relationship? But it also, I think, sparks an interest of, you don't know when somebody's going to check out. And so always take that moment to say, I love you, to let them know that you care, to offer forgiveness, ask for an apology, and to sit in gratitude for you being a part of their journey and them being a part of yours. So many people that I work with and who watch this know loss from a very personal level. We all experience loss, but some of you know it from a deep, deep level that brings a lot of pain and suffering. And so trust me when I say, take every opportunity to be able to express how important each person is in your life along your journey. So Joanne asked a question. This one was really hard for me to read, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. So Joanne, I hope that you're here today watching, if not watching the replay, and I hope that this answers your question. She says, why can't they find an answer for my granddaughter's health problems? Why does she have to go through this? Why hasn't he answered my prayers? Oh, that just brings tears to my eyes even when I read this. So when I sat with this, many messages came through for you on this question. The first one was that the lesson is in the journey. Okay, so whatever your daughter crafted this lifetime in her journey of illness, she wanted to learn along the journey, okay? We all want our loved ones to be okay and to not suffer and to not have to go through that. But usually when a soul crafts an illness, such as your granddaughter's, she's probably wanting to learn the lesson of self-care, of letting people help her, of her faith and her belief, of inner strength. So those are all some lessons that maybe her soul wanted to learn. And like I told Victoria, she crafted for you to be her grandmother. So what wisdom do you have to bring to her? What challenge have you gone through in your life where you triumphed, that you can share that wisdom with her to help her through? Okay, we all go through things so that we can help another, so we can be of service. And in your prayers, remember that we're all going to pray that she gets better and that she goes into remission or that she lives, right? We all want that. But that's not our journey to place upon her. There are moments in the soul's evolution that, as challenging as it may be, shift the vibration of humanity and teach other people how to be kind, how to be helpful, how to pray, how to have faith, how to forgive, how to surrender, right? So what part of her journey, what lesson is that teaching for you? Because you're part of her journey as well. It's not just about what she wants to learn. What is it teaching you? So the other part of it is what did you agree on, right? So when you said, I'm going to be your grandmother and I'm going to walk this journey with you, what did you agree to help her with? Are you doing that? Could you do it better? I want you to ask yourself that, Joanne, because anybody in your situation and in her situation has to ask themselves that, because they're playing a very important role for that soul's evolution and for your own. But here was the biggest part that I wanted to share with you. So in my meditation, I revisited this question, and what came in was God is not the conductor of your life. You're the conductor. You're the one that crafts it. So your granddaughter is her own conductor of her life. So it's not that he's not answering your prayers. Your prayers are being answered. You have to listen. And the answer may not be what you feel it should be. But there are other parties involved, okay, that have to take accountability, responsibility, that are walking the journey that their soul asked this lifetime. What God's job is to shine the light through the experience, okay, to shine the wisdom, the guidance, the love, through pain and suffering, through glory and triumph. God is the light as you are, and your job as God's is to shine the light, to bring strength to the situation, to help them pull through it, to help them learn the lesson, to help them see the light, to help them have strength, to help them remember who they are, where they come from, and where they're going after the challenge. Okay, so God is not a punishing God. God is not the conductor. God is the light. God is the wisdom that comes through in the words that you share, in the hug that you give, in the hope that you have when she or her family doesn't have hope, right? God's the love, not the conductor. So when I get emotional, it's because I'm channeling. It's because I'm speaking the message for you. And it's not just you. It's for everybody else who goes through a situation and they question their faith or their belief or their power or their love or their light. You holding the light for your granddaughter is so powerful. So when you pray for her ability to find strength within every word that you give her, within every lesson that is delivered in her own soul's evolution, because that's what she chose you for. The fact that you asked this question, that you are questioning the situation, means that you are of the light, you are an awakened soul, and you have messages to give to her. So I hope that the message I'm delivering to you and everybody else in this situation, that you can hear it, because that's where the prayer is answered, if that makes sense. Hey, Cindy. Woo, that one worked me up. Let me just take a breath here. Thank you for asking that question, Joanne. Okay, Anita says, if it's all about love, then why does the soul incarnate and do evil acts like murder, rape, and incest? Oh, this was a good question too. So I know that the storyline feels real, right? Like when you go through trauma, or when you go through a challenge, or when you have loss, or when you don't understand and you're at the bottom, at ground zero, it feels so real. Just like when I was talking about the Hunger Games, you know, when they're in that simulation, it feels so real until she breaks through and realizes that it's just a bubble that this game is being played out in. So one of the things that came through, Anita, in my meditation when I was asking for the answer for a message for you on this, is that each the perpetrator and the victim has their own storyline and challenges that they're working through. So let me give an example. And when I share this example, it doesn't mean that I'm minimizing the trauma that is done to the victims going through it. Okay, I'm just speaking from a higher level of why that might happen. So the perpetrator is given a lesson possibly to choose higher in their violence or their acts of perpetration. They're given an opportunity to not do it and to see if they can master that. And the karma and the consequences that come back to that soul if they don't choose higher is real. It happens. It may not happen in real time. It may take another lifetime of them being the victim of the same act that they did on someone this lifetime for them to experience how damaging that is. But when the soul crafts a lesson like that, let's just say for sexual abuse, for example, the perpetrator may have been abused themselves, and they may have wanted or didn't get help for that abuse, and then they became a perpetrator. Their lifetime may consist of sex education. It may consist of jail time. It may consist of escaping being charged with it because nobody talked, but they may deal with their own guilt and punishment their whole lifetime and cause them to commit suicide or take their life. So it's very complicated, but there is a reason for each aspect of the person who does good and who does bad to choose higher, right? And so speaking from the victim standpoint, they're here to learn a lesson too. It might be forgiveness, it might be strength, it might be their faith, it might be putting a law into effect based on what happened to them. So it's hard for you to understand at a 3D egoic level as to why bad things happen to good people and why good things happen to bad people. But there is a beautiful chaos in each one of those lessons that you will not be revealed to the truth of it, to the totality of it, until it's your time to pass and you have the life review. But I can tell you that there is a reason for it. Only the soul knows that. I am able to channel those reasons during mediumship sessions if that's something you or someone else is struggling with and they need to know at a deeper level why something happened to them or what lesson they're here to learn. And so it's a pretty complicated answer, but the short version is, even though you don't understand, it is all in divine plan, and it is for each of the soul's evolution. So let's see, I have 2 more questions that I want to answer. So for those of you who have stuck around, thank you. Remember to like, subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube, so that I can get the message out there to everyone. So Jessica says, did you hear my message when Dad put the phone to your ear? So many people ask and want to know if their loved one during their passing or right before is able to hear them or feel them. And a lot of this comes from the guilt you feel of not being able to be with the person during their passing, or if they were in a coma and they weren't able to have a conversation with you, or you just physically weren't with them to look into their eyes. And so if you got the opportunity to whisper something in their ear, whether it's through the phone or FaceTime or in person, and whether they're coherent or not, I want each and every one of y'all to know they always hear. And something really sweet is that you don't even have to voice it. You don't even have to use your throat chakra and verbalize it. All you have to do is think it. Communication in the 3D realm, we're used to picking up the phone, sending a text, sending an email, doing a FaceTime, doing a live Zoom, and that's how our egoic mind believes that we're communicating with each other. But in your spiritual spidey senses, our communication goes beyond what you can hear, feel, think, feel. It's all you have to do is think about it, and they get the message. Okay. So any thoughts that you implant towards them or that you have in your mind, you're having direct communication. So for those of you who didn't even get to whisper into the phone or give them a hug, all you had to do was have them in your thoughts during their time of passing, and they know, they feel, they hear. Okay, and that's the beauty of the spirit realm, is there's no limitation. We are limited by our five senses and our density and being in 3D, but we're not just a 3D physical being. We are a spiritual being as well, and so we actually have access to other ways of communication. We're just not taught that. We're just not told, have them in your heart, feel them. Can you feel them in your soul? And the answer is always yes. Yes, I can feel them, but do they hear me? So if you can feel them, yes, they hear you. It's just learning a different way, the secret language of how your spiritual body, your soul communicates versus your 3D egoic self. So I'm going to end this with the last question, and that's from Brandy. And Brandy says, what is my life purpose? This is a loaded question, and this is a beautiful question, and this is why I am here and the work that I do. So I wanted to end it on this one. So many people want to know their life purpose, and it is not an easy question. It is not a simple answer, and it is very specific to you. Okay, so there are some ways that you can figure out your life purpose. One way, and Cindy can attest to this, is that your guides are not here to tell you what your life purpose is. They are not going to divulge that answer, because the journey of your lifetime is crafted so that each breadcrumb, each step of the way, reveals the essence of your life purpose. Now, I will tell you, in the thousands of readings I've done of people asking me about their life purpose, and the sole reason why I created my 12-week program, Soul Centered Awakening, is for you to have tools that you can access that are special and unique to you in order to actually unveil your life purpose. And in my program, we go over your numerology, your astrology, your understanding of what's in your physical 3D realm, okay, and the storyline that you've lived up until this point, and challenge your beliefs and what you intuitively know that works for you, that you're not doing, that you need to let go of. So it's accessing your Akashic records for this lifetime that are built on multiple lifetimes that you have come in and brought in these strengths and weaknesses and the karma and the challenges to balance out this lifetime. It's all of that you have to take into account when you are understanding your life purpose. Your life purpose is not one grand thing that your soul came here to experience. It is a conglomeration of multiple things that have to do with your own soul's personal evolution, okay, like who you are at a soul level. It has to do with your contribution to humanity, whatever that may be, big or small, it doesn't matter. And it has to do with the relationships of people that you have in your world, in your 3D world, that have incarnated with you over and over and over, in which your soul lessons and purpose is tied to theirs, so that the energy is always transcending, right? So it's not just a to B destination. It's so complicated, and it's such a beautiful, chaotic crafting, which is unique to each of us, but is threaded through each of our lifetimes and others, that it takes a hot minute to work through and to understand what your purpose is in comparison to everybody else's, because you have purpose individually and you have it collectively. Okay, it's not just about you incarnating for your own soul and boom, once you learn the lesson, you're done. It is intertwined with everybody else's purpose and everybody else's lessons, and humanity as a whole. And there is a reason why you chose to be here at this time in the age of Aquarius. And it is tied to making a difference in the world. Now, what that difference is for each soul is very specific to each soul. So if you're looking to find more about that specifically, schedule a session with me or consider my 12-week program, Soul Centered Awakening. That's why I crafted that, because so many people have questions for that. Hey, Dawn. Oh, I'm so glad to see you here. So I hope that part 2 of if you could ask God one question, what would it be, was enlightening for you. I hope it was helpful. If you didn't watch part 1, please go back and watch that. I am excited to take the messenger to the next level. So if you are interested in the weekly messenger, which is delivered to your inbox, and it takes a deeper dive into each of these topics, try it out free for 30 days. It's $11 a month after that if you like it, if you love it. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment box. I would love to answer them for you. And I hope you have the rest of your week is beautiful. So thank you for showing up. Appreciate y'all.